So, what impressed you, if anything, today?
Well, I mean, I think it's pretty obvious. Our defense at the beginning of the game and through the second quarter, it was I think a 6-1 game at halftime, and the 6 was given up on another phase of the game. So our defense played shutout football in a half, and anytime you're doing that, it's noticed. All three phases, though, need to play well together to win games, and we didn't do that tonight. So, that's going to be the message to those guys tomorrow. No matter how good it looked at certain times, it can be better, and we'll learn from all of it. So we'll stay connected like we are as a football team and continue to work. We are in training camp, so there is room for improvement, which is a good thing.
What wasn't working for Davis today?
I just think we didn't get in much rhythm. I mean, it's hard when you're going 2 and out a couple times, and it's for various reasons. It's not always just one thing happening. You just don't get a rhythm going, and then whether the elements are part of it or just being in the pocket for the first time in a while is a part of it. Your timing's always a little bit different. So, I think there's a little bit of everything that probably, made that kind of thing happen. And like I said, everybody will always look at the quarterback for it, but it takes an offense, a whole unit to run efficiently, all 12 guys at the same time doing their job to make those plays work and then stay on the field. And anytime an offense doesn't stay on the field for multiple drives in a row, it gets tough. And then you try to press a little bit. And so there's just no rhythm. And anytime there's no rhythm, it's hard.
I'm going to assume that Alexander's not playing Friday night.
Yep.
Would anything that you saw or didn't see today affect that decision?
No, I mean, we had that planned out already.
So you're confident?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen a whole bunch of practices this training camp against that defense that the defense you saw hold the team to no points in the first half. We see it every single day, and we go against it every day. And we've seen how our offense performs against it, and Davis leading that offense. And there's battles there. So there's a lot of, things we can get better at, but ultimately the 6 or 7 practices or days of practice that we've had, I'll let that speak for itself, and know that we'll just learn from this film, we'll get a little bit better, we'll get into a better rhythm first game of the season for Davis.
Special teams?
The same thing. It's hard. Special teams is probably the hardest phase to play in the preseason because everybody's having to play and Byron's having to look after a lot of substitutions. Can we be better? Absolutely. There's things where, you don't, again, there's not very many practices to teach everyone new things, and so you've got to see a little bit full speed. Not only that, it's the first time we're able to actually finish on people and tackle people and do all those things. So there's a lot of things that can be cleaned up, but ultimately that's what the film is going to be for, and this week of practice is going to be for. We hope to be better next time we play.
And your defense, the starters, at least in the first half, I mean, you were good considering you didn't really show anything. You didn't blitz for as far as I could tell.
Well,
they were.
I think we did blitz a few. We did blitz a few times, and they were bringing some pressures, but we did do the same. So we played our type of defense that we play, and it's been very good here, and we know that. So that's not lost on anybody. It's a lot of work that Noel and his staff puts into that unit, and our guys respond each and every week. So it was good to see that they're in kind of mid-season form, as people like to say. It was, like I said, that was a very bright spot of today.
Anybody that stood out to your
No, I don't. It's hard. I don't. I'm always looking at just units, not just necessarily people. So I would say it's too early for me to say that anybody for me stood out. But I'm sure after watching the film, there'd be a couple of guys that I do notice.
And how did you find McLeod?
Probably the same as Davis, just certain things to clean up, timing-wise. He had one nice drive, and then I think we got down midfield again, and a little connection there on the post route that probably could have been completed, but just little timing issues that I think we've seen. New offense for him, new things that he's learning, timing-wise with everybody, and I think when he gets in a rhythm, he's going to be even better.
Do you believe the numbers dilutes your evaluation process as we speak? Because there was quite numerous guys on the sideline.
Say that again with the numbers.
There was a lot of guys on the sidelines. Do you think having that type of numbers dilutes the evaluation process?
Well, I mean, not everyone gets a fair amount of plays to evaluate them, if that's what you're saying. When you're trying to get everybody in the game, you're starting with your starters and trying to get. Next week is going to be great for our evaluation because our starters, most of the starters that we're thinking are going to play at the beginning of the year, aren't going to be playing this next game. So these guys that played in the second half that didn't maybe get as many reps are going to get far more next week. So it'll be a better evaluation for us. But, you know, I always tell them, make every rep count, because it could be 5 or 6, but if they are very good 5 or 6, they'll count for something for us evaluating them. And I think everybody about got to play tonight, so we get to see some of them.